Hi, I just want to welcome you to my live as we're going to talk a little bit more about deliverance. And one of the core values that I carry, that our house carries here at Harvest Church, is that deliverance ministry needs to be done with dignity. And so I'm just going to give you a little time to go ahead and invite your friends. Make sure that you share this live on your pages, share it with your friends, invite people to hop on as we really dive into this, because one of the things that we know is supposed to happen if we're a believer in Jesus, we are going to cast out demons. I mean, that's Mark chapter 16. It's right there. You're going to lay hands on the sick and you're going to cast out demons. And so part of being a Christian is actually casting out demons when demons manifest. Okay, so a lot of times we get these instructions in the Bible, and then there's always the how-to. There's the process of what that really looks like, and we are working all of that out as we go, and learning how to do that well in a way that reflects the heart of the Father, reflects, just the power of the Lord to bring people into freedom. And so before we move forward on that, again, it's good to see all of you. Caitlin, hello. Nada, hello. Haya, hello. Good to see all of you. Teresa and Randall, good to see all of you. Daphne, hello. So before we move into that, I just want to let you know that we have had such a powerful, successful time in our Excellence in the Supernatural online mentorship. That is actually a year-long mentorship, and we normally close it once we've opened it and taken registration for the year. We normally close it. But this round, we decided to open it back up and invite people who want to join us for the last half. And so this is something that, you'll be able to hop in. You won't get to see the other sessions, but you'll be able to start now and actually, finish the last half with us if the topics are of interest to you. So we're talking about strategic prayer, and a prophetic intercession. And then we're also talking about kingdom relationships, how important that is, because we've got to have the right relationships. A lot of us, we can get into relationships, but we don't know how to keep them, and we don't know what to do with conflict, and we don't know what to do when there's warfare in the relationships and why it even gets there. And then on top of it, we're going to talk about inner healing and deliverance, which is something I have a passion for, just that people would get free, and inner healing and deliverance, they go together. Some people focus just on the deliverance part, but if you don't get people healed on the inside, they're just going to get repossessed all over again or re-oppressed all over again. So inner healing and deliverance, they go together. So we're going to dive into those topics, the last half of the seeing in the supernatural, I'm in wrong mentorship, the excellence in the supernatural online mentorship. Now I got it right. Excellence. We want to be excellent. Okay. All right. So anyway, I left the link for you in the title line. You can go ahead and check it out and see if that's for you. I do hope that you join us. We are having people hop in, and again, you join us for the last half, December through May, but we're gonna give you all like November for free. So, I think it's a pretty good deal. So anyway, I like what you said there. Inner healing is so important. Yes, it is. It certainly is. Thank you for echoing that as well. So let's talk about deliverance with dignity. Now, most of you know that I had to get delivered as a new Christian. And that was, at the time, that was really counter to what people believed, and at least in the churches that I went to. How can you be a Christian and need to get deliverance? Well, as a new Christian, and when you have covenants with demons, especially occult ones, and you don't sever those things, well, those demons, they come back to collect, okay? And it's just like any contract, any natural contract, it's like you got a covenant, you got an agreement, and you've got to sever it, you got to break it. And I didn't know that I needed to do that. I got saved, I love Jesus, and I was just living for the Lord, and next thing you know, I started having these massive spiritual problems. And so I ended up getting delivered from a spirit of sorcery. It was a bad deliverance, and not because the people who were there with me at the prayer time, not because of them. It's just I just happened to have a bad deliverance. All right, I was pretty like very very oppressed, and so anyway, I it was one of those things where I remember as I was going through that deliverance during the prayer time, and because my deliverance, I realize now was probably out of their league. I've seen a lot of deliverances and I've seen a lot of really deep ones. And even in all of the ones that I have seen, I probably was the worst case out of all of it. And keep in mind, I didn't know how to act like a person who needed deliverance. I didn't know how to put on a show. I didn't know any of that. I was really getting delivered and it was bad. And so anyway, and these prayer ladies that I was with when this happened, we didn't expect it to happen, but we were just praying. We were just interceding for the city. And I was a new Christian and excited about prayer and, needed deliverance too. And so when this all happened and these ladies were trying to get me delivered and they couldn't, I remember, oh my gosh, I remember one lady sticking her finger in my face and telling me to shut up and, just being like, not gentle at all, not, really no dignity towards me at all, because I was I was coherent at some points, and other points I just wasn't. And I didn't know what was going on. I was so scared, and it was almost like it was really, really rough. And not really, I didn't feel like they knew how to handle somebody, with the right way, who needed deliverance on that level, because, people, in that situation, they need a lot of TLC while you're commanding a demon to come out at the same time, and so there is a way to do it. There's an art to do it. There's a pastoral way to cast out a demon. And so anyway, fast forward, I actually did get delivered, not because of them, because the Holy Spirit actually took over about 3 months later. I was just left in torment because they couldn't get me free. And the Holy Spirit, he rose up in me, and I told that demon I wasn't going to serve it anymore, and that broke it. I told it I was going to serve Jesus Christ from that point on. And that's what broke the thing. But anyway, fast forward, I started going to this really cool Pentecostal church in Modesto, California. It was really large. And there was these two ladies, the deliverance ladies, who aren't quite submitted to the pastor, but they just love deliverance. So there's these two deliverance ladies, and boy, they scoped me out pretty quickly. And it was like they just, started engaging in deliverance on me without even telling me what was going on. And it freaked me out, okay? It just totally freaked me out. Because, again, I didn't know what this stuff was. And, they didn't talk to me about it. They didn't, tell me what was happening. And it was almost like it was more about them and their ministry. And they were doing this, without the pastor's knowledge. They didn't even know the pastor didn't even know what was going on, that they were doing these kind of things. And then on top of it, when I was pretty much, standoffish with them from that point on, they would always walk by me with this stare, kind of like the stare, like they knew something about me that I didn't know, or, they knew that I needed more deliverance. I probably did. But the thing was, it was almost like this power thing with them. And so, again, there was just no dignity at all, none whatsoever. And so I actually took these situations, and as I became a minister, and I began to really build a ministry for deliverance and inner healing in my own church, and it's been ongoing for a couple decades, and we've worked on it, and we've reworked and retooled things as we've gone along. But as I've moved forward in it, one of the things that's really critical and really important to me is that we treat people with dignity, no matter what's coming out of them, no matter what what it is that they need to be delivered from, especially when we are in crowds, when we are like in a church service or something like that. And honestly, I've heard people give blood curdling screams, in the middle of service. And, like, what do you do with that? You know what I'm saying? Or they go up to get prayer during the altar time, and they just want prayer for something simple. And next thing you know, they're, hissing and slithering on the floor. We've had all of those situations happen, okay? Every bit of it. So what do we do with that? Because this person's doing this kind of thing in front of a whole crowd, okay? And so I want to like really, be tender with them, and I want to cover them. And if I can, I maybe want to take them to a more private place so that they're not in the view of everybody. It's not something that we're going to gather around and have everybody watch, and kind of like a Deliverance championship, Deliverance championship playoffs. It's not anything like that. We want to really help these people through, because they're going to be embarrassed, especially because things come out of their mouth that they normally wouldn't say, or they have more self-control in other times than they have in that moment. Or they're screaming, or they're working out something really serious. And there's a lot of shame involved. And so we want to, cover them, and then also, I'm really careful, like the things that I'm going to call from the pulpit that need deliverance. And again, this all comes from just being pastoral. I've seen people call from the platform, people out in the crowd, and say, if you have this embarrassing habit, we want you to stand up right now because you need deliverance. And so people would actually stand up and shame themselves, okay, in front of a whole crowd. And, I just happen to know, doing that is not going to take care of the problem. They actually need inner healing, which means they need to go to a session, and, to unroot, to pull out the roots of why they're doing the shameful behavior. Okay. Just standing up in a crowd and in front of everybody and shaming yourself, is not going to do it, and so I just happen to know that I've done this enough. And you know what I'm saying? And it's just not dignified. We're not preserving their dignity, and we're actually putting shame on them and then we have another layer of deliverance that they need to get delivered from their deliverer. All right. So anyway, this is one of those things that I just want to let you know that it's a very big value of mine, that when we engage in deliverance, when we call people into a moment of deliverance, or if deliverance happens in the room, sometimes you just can't help it. I've been in, I'm thinking of one situation in particular. I had no idea that the anointing for deliverance was gonna land like a bomb in the room that I was ministering in. And that one, we just couldn't help it. People were slithering all over the place and screaming, and that one we just had, it was like a war zone. It was like a MASH unit. Everybody just rushed, and we just, started delivering everybody in front of everybody. And that was the best we can do. Okay. But when I can, okay, I won't film it. Number one, I'm not going to film somebody's face, because I don't want them on my social media with people seeing their face and them getting delivered. Sometimes we will show it, from like an angle where you can't tell who that person is, because, it's actually quite victorious to see somebody get delivered. But I won't put their face on. I'm really careful about doing that. Or I'll definitely ask them their permission. If I'm the one behind the camera, I'll ask them their permission if I could even post it, and I'll let them see it. Say, look at how this looks. Are you okay with that? That's what I do. But I've seen other people that they just will cover their face. They make sure that they're not seen. Okay. So it's one of those things. It's not like we're trying to hide that we have problems, but I just don't want deliverance to have shame attached to it. And so the way we engage it, I think, is really, really important. Okay. And so I just want to leave that with you today. Something to think about. You might be in a culture where that's maybe not your protocol. And maybe if you all really know each other, it's not a big deal. But what about the strangers? What about the new people? What about the people that just walk in the door and they're really, really possessed? Okay. Those are the people I'm thinking about, you know, that I want to cover and I want to, you know, keep their dignity, you know, because deliverance ministry is not about me, the minister. It's not about my ego and me, you know, getting another one on the scorecard. Okay. Jesus came to set him free and free indeed. He didn't come to boost his ego because, you know, he cast a demon out of you. All right. So anyway, I just want to leave that with you. I also want to invite you to join us for the last half. Excellence in the Supernatural online mentorship. I left the link in the title line, and you can check it all out. So thanks for joining me today. Have a good one. Bye.